People of Earth, I give you Matt Baume.
Oh, hello, friends. Shh, be very, very quiet. We're hunting anti-gay laws. They're sneaky buggers. Hard to spot. But make no mistake, they're deadly predators. Through bumbling chance and unnatural selection, they've managed to evolve clever camouflage and killer weapons that allow them to penetrate the big gay loophole in the nation's civil rights laws.
Less than a century ago, anti-gay discrimination dominated the land from coast to coast. King of beasts! But in recent years, its habitat has been shrinking. Its financial feeding grounds gone fallow, and fewer young people want to be the stewards of discrimination.
In short, anti-gay discrimination is going extinct. But it's not going without a fight. A beast is at its most desperate when it's facing starvation, so it'll do anything to adapt, to survive, and to pass itself on to the next generation. Hup, hup, hup.
I think I see one now. Ooh, it looks like a poison-plumed Eumusta discriminata, also known as clerkworm. Once a state's been infested with clerkworm, public employees in every town are required to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation, or suffer the worm's venomous financial penalties. It's government-mandated discrimination. There have been recent outbreaks in legislatures from Wyoming to South Carolina.
Ooh, and what's that over there? Could it be clerkworm's close cousin, the brown-nosed Eudicida discriminata, also known as Rando Protecto, or, as I like to call it, Captain Randy? Captain Randy forms a parasitic bond with government employees and allows them to pick and choose which members of the public they wish to serve. You'll see it cloaked in code words like religious liberty. Religious liberty, it has a nice ring to it. Religious liberty. Religious liberty. Religious liberty.
Master, watch out!
Dad! Thank you, Mother. I was nearly lulled to sleep by Captain Randy's seductive song. Religious liberty sounds like something anyone can support, but when these words appear in discriminatory laws, they don't mean freedom to practice your religion. That's already guaranteed by the First Amendment. They mean freedom to use your religion to discriminate against anyone you don't like. That's right, anyone. Imagine a world where any time you seek services from a government employee, you never know if you're going to be turned away because they just don't like helping gay people. You could be denied a bus ride or a driver's license or permission to adopt a child simply because some random civil servant was like, nah, you seem too gay. Captain Randy's been spreading across the southeast like kudzu. You can find him in these states. Ooh, but who's this pompous fellow going out for a prance? If it isn't the scat-spangled discrimino extremino, also known as the bald animus. Look at it flaunt and flounce like it doesn't have any clucks to give. Old Baldy's attracted to businesses that are associated with weddings. It sets up nests in front of bakeries and florists and photographers, and from there, it squawks about protecting those businesses from being bullied into serving LGBT customers. Tyranny? Slavery? Yes! The bald animus will equate non-discrimination laws with slavery, claiming that by requiring a business that's open to the public to serve all members of the public equally, they're being made into slaves. They actually say that. Baldy's solution? Let any person or business decide which laws they're going to follow, as long as they claim they're doing it for religious reasons. Old Baldy doesn't just affect same-sex couples who want to get married, but all people. He could be used to justify withholding medical treatment, or extreme corporal punishment, or unsafe workplaces, or worse, by hate groups seeking to terrorize people under the guise of religious expression. Once you know what to look for, bald animus is pretty easy to identify. He's been spotted in a bunch of states so far, and is extremely dangerous. Now, I don't see any other anti-gay laws. Perhaps that's the last of them. Oh, good grief! It's my old foe, Arkansas's SB 202. Now, this is a fine specimen of Animus obscura, also known as the phantom menace of anti-gay legislation. These bottom feeders cloak themselves in incredibly boring language that sounds like it's all about protecting businesses from confusing regulations. These phantoms use their boring camouflage to slip through legislatures undetected. Swaddled in innocent terms like commerce improvement and uniformity of laws, they slink through without raising a stink. But once they take root, they hold open the big gay loophole in the Civil Rights Act, making it a crime for cities and towns to pass non-discrimination laws. Laws like SB 202 were once easy to strike down because they specifically banned LGBT protection. But now they've evolved a new survival strategy. The modern species never mentions LGBT people at all. They just say that no city or town is allowed to protect a group of people that isn't already protected by the state. Obviously, LGBT people are the target, but it also means that towns can't pass non-discrimination laws for other groups, like elderly people or veterans. If SB 202 is the Phantom Menace, now that it's passed, we're already seeing an attack of the clones. Similar laws have popped up in West Virginia and Texas and are burbling across the Midwest and South. My friends, make no mistake about what these laws seek to do. Anti-Gay Incorporated knows that they've lost on the big issues like marriage equality, and the tide of intolerance is turning across the country. The staunchest homophobes will soon go the way of the dodo, and their allies are increasingly distancing themselves for fear of being tarred with the brush of crazy, frothy bigotry. So they've taken their efforts underground, to towns and cities and states, to undermine progress in small, almost imperceptible increments, to make sure that the most vulnerable people in the country stay vulnerable. By enshrining second-class status into law, these bills are acts of heterosupremacy, meant to demean and intimidate LGBT people. Perhaps you think I'm being overly dramatic. Dramatic? Moi? This week at CPAC, Phyllis Schlafly, founder of the Eagle Forum, had this to say about the upcoming Supreme Court ruling on marriage equality. Well, soon the court will decide, and that will be it. Well, a lot of people thought that about Roe v. Wade, and we've seen the whole abortion movement turned around in the last 10 years. We should develop all kinds of strategies, legal strategies, legislative strategies, public opinion strategies, in order to reject the rules of, in many cases, a single judge, or just a simple majority of judges. In case you didn't catch it, what she's saying is conservatives need to come up with strategies to undo LGBT progress that's been made in the courts, even in the Supreme Court. Because, after all, who are they to judge? While she's talking about strategies to ensure that LGBT people are kept as second-class citizens, I'm getting comments on my videos like this. I truly fear for my life the more and more I live in this state. I won't walk alone outside anymore. I fear being shot by the 90% population with guns in my town. I fear going to school every morning because I've been physically attacked and the school ignored it. Now this? I might just homeschool out of fear for my safety. Never come to Harrison, Arkansas unless you're heterosexual, cisgender, white, and male. That came from Nola Callie. Thanks for letting me share it. While the Phyllis Schlaflys of the world are jawing about ideology, strategy, and being disappointed in their party for not being more intolerant, people like Nola Callie are living in actual terror. Anti-gay laws send the message that this kind of terror is a-okay with the state, because LGBT people are not deserving of protection. The sinister irony is that these laws are ostensibly meant to push back against some elite gay agenda, but in reality, they disproportionately hurt the most vulnerable people in our communities. These laws aren't going to have a big day-to-day impact on the rich and influential like Elton John, or Ellen DeGeneres, or the Great Gazoo, but they are going to hurt people like Nola Callie, who just want to go to school like anyone else. Well, we're not going to let Phyllis fill us with dread. We know what to look for. Laws that require government employees to discriminate, laws that permit government employees to discriminate, laws that let anyone discriminate if they say it's for religious reasons, and laws that make non-discrimination illegal. But hark! What's that sound? The cry of the whirlybird. Soon the moon will be out and the werewolves will be capering in erotic costumes. I must head back to camp so I don't miss a trick. But kindly join me in the morning on the second part of our safari when I share what you can do to exterminate these anti-gay laws. And as always, remember my poppets, subscribe here on YouTube, and tweet at me at Matt Baume. Until the morn, auf Wiedersehen.